when I was coming up, my mama was dating a guy that used to bootleg. They used to bootleg tapes.
Right.
And, I used to hear just about every kind of rap music, hip hop music you could think of. And as I progressed in the music industry, that kind of my bad. That kind
You
of
good?
became one of the first things that I did was seek out the I guess the guidance of the guys that came before me.
Right.
So, I made it my duty to go and and meet Ball, meet MJG 3 6. Same with Gotti. That just became like my goal, because I wanted to first be able to appreciate the people that came before me. So I got a great relationship with everybody that would be considered a pioneer from my city.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you was coming up, when you was coming up, like curating a fan base, how was that? Because I know it's kind of different from now, or it's the same thing like nowadays.
I came in the time where the internet was just cranking up. I was
Yeah.
maybe a few years after Soldier Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Before Soldier Boy, there ain't much. The internet wasn't something that people went to for entertainment.
Social media wise.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was like MySpace, I want to say. So
Mm-hmm.
from that, everything started building, and I kind of just jumped in it. I just jumped in the whirlwind of how social media was popping.
Yeah.
It was something new to me, and even now it's something I ain't really into. But I learned from the legends we just spoke of,
Mm-hmm.
that the reason they was able to stay relevant and they was able to keep everything pumping is because at some point in time, no matter how old you are, you run into the fork in the road. You either
Right.
you either gonna adapt to the change or get rolled over by the change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what they taught me. This was still before the internet popped off like it did.
Yeah.
But that's the one of the things that I gathered from all of them collectively. They was always like, man, you gotta, when it come, you gotta roll with the change. If you don't roll with it, then you're gonna get rolled over. And
Yeah.
8Ball was one of the people that told me, I gotta find my way to, to keep my integrity while doing it. I ain't supposed to conform, but I'm supposed
Right.
to adapt. So that's what I did. And around that time, YouTube got super popular, and
Mm-hmm.
it became something that everybody could upload to. And
Right.
once that happened, I said, what's the worst that can happen for me if I upload my videos to YouTube? So I went, and it was a big sacrifice though. I turned my bedroom, I turned my bedroom into a recording studio.
Damn, that's dope.
A lot of people that watch my old videos think that I was recording in the closet, but in reality,
Mm-hmm.
I took my bedroom, I moved everything out of the bedroom. I didn't have a dresser, I didn't have a bed.
That's dedication.
I built a booth, and I put the control board and everything in front of it, all the racks, everything. So
Yeah.
when people watch those videos, they don't know that I'm actually in a booth. I'm in a booth that I built. It's wood, nails, screws. I actually built a vocal booth.
Yeah. Now, how long did it take for you to actually get a song, a single that everybody gravitated to? Because, it's different. Everybody got their own path and their own journey. And then everybody's time is different. Like, how long did it take you for people
What
to notice you?
I don't know how to really gauge it, because I had been doing it since like middle school. I started actually putting out music in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of gained a fan base as far as the part of town I came from.
Yeah.
I'll say maybe the whole city started recognizing. Maybe been 22, I think,
Okay.
and that just came from I'm not a man. I don't want to sound crazy, but
Nah, John, speak your
I'm
mind.
not much of a I don't party. That's just not
Right.
something I do. I
That's a
don't
good
smoke,
thing,
I don't
though.
drink, so ain't much for me to do in the club.
So you
And
don't smoke or drink?
no, I think everything ain't for everybody. So
Right.
I
Right.
ain't got nothing against nobody to do. I ain't trying to make myself sound mightier than thou, or higher.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's just something it don't work for me, and I'm a
Mhm.
firm believer that I gotta rock with what works for me.
Right.
But like in the nightclub, that's basically the draw, and I don't dance, so
Yeah.
I really got
Nowadays, definitely.
right. So I got nothing to do in the club.
Right.
But around that time, I had started rocking with a DJ from here called DJ Larry Live. I had started rocking with him, and that's one of the things he was telling me, like, man, you got to get in the club. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be in the club, but I had to compromise, so to speak. So, I started going to the club with him. And instead of going to the club to kick it and hang out, I just went to the club to study. And, I was studying the music that they was playing in the club. And from that, I just used it as best I could to put it in my music. And from there, my name started popping in my city once I started making music that was more catered to the club. Then at some point in my career, I gained a following, a niche fan base, so to speak. And when that happened, I ain't much need to make that kind of music, if that makes sense. I could make the music that I wanted to make, that I want to make, more than the music that I need to make.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I want to go back on the subject when we were talking about social media. Like, as far as you entering into the social media world and actually expanding and learning how to work and network with social media, what's the pros and cons to that? When, what I'm saying, for coming from your area when it was nothing but groundwork, posters, you had to do footwork.
It's true. I'll say cons first. One of the drawbacks to the internet, social media being like the key tool, the most prominent tool to build a career in anything, really. One of the cons is the lack of footwork. It's to a point people think that you can just post it on Instagram and your work done, and it's a lot more got to be involved. And sometimes people get the misconception that it's it's inexpensive to use the internet to do it instead of do it in person, and it is, but it's not. I mean, because I can post something on Instagram and it's free, but it's going to reach a certain amount of people. But if I pay Instagram to sponsor it, then it reach that reach is maximized, and it's maximized according to how much money I pay. Same with websites, blog sites. No matter what, the money, cash still rules all.
Yeah,
but that's one of the things people kind of look over because they think so and so is on the internet. And another con is the short-term gain. Like, you can go and buy you 1 million views and it's going to pop.
Yeah, you damn sure can.
Right. But what happens when you got to do the second one? Or when you got, what you going to do next year? You can run it for a year.
Right.
What happens when you've created a fan base that ain't a real fan base? And in a minute, you're going to need it. Like right now with I don't know if I can curse or not. I know.
Go ahead. You keep going. It is still like radio, so hey.
Okay. Well, right now, the way it is, with the whole pandemic thing, that was something nobody could see coming. At least none of us could see coming.
I never seen that coming.
So with that, you kind of gotta have. Right now, it was a test. You really gotta have your shit together. So if you was living outside of your means before the pandemic hit and they shut everything and stopped everything you could do, then you kind of against the wall right now. And if you was buying followers, then you kind of gonna be in that boat because you don't have a real following, you don't have a real fan. And it's right now more than ever people need entertainment. So
they do.
Right. So that would be another con, but the pros to it, I would say, you don't gotta leave your living room to reach people. Now you can do it straight from the studio. I can record a record and upload it, as soon as we finish, and start getting the reaction from it immediately. That's not something you could do 10 years ago. And, I think that's great. I think it's shifted. People not buying records no more. It's all streaming now. And that's got its own pros and cons, but for the most part, I think it's more beneficial because, again, as an artist, as an artist that wear all the hats, I don't gotta pay no distributor. I don't gotta pay no manufacturer. I don't gotta pay, you know, I don't gotta pay Best Buy to hold it.
Right.
You know, I don't have to do none of that. And now, you know, you push it and it's everywhere. They got all kinds of, you know, they making the digital distribution more and more user friendly as they go.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a situation with DistroKid, but I got a great relationship with DistroKid. A lot of times, a lot of the features I've been doing for maybe like the last maybe 3 years, a lot of the people, you know, a lot of them facilitate through DistroKid. So I don't know if everybody's familiar with DistroKid, but if you're not and you're an independent artist, you know, you should definitely look into it. But the way they rock, every time I do a feature and one of them people try to put a tape out, I have to, you know, I got to clear. No matter what, I got to clear it. But DistroKid insists that, you know, that the artist get it cleared, otherwise they won't upload it.
So other sites, like other sites just let you go ahead and drop it without getting cleared, or all of them like a mandatory that you got to get cleared?
Nothing's ever been released for me without it being cleared, but the reach is different. Like some of them have to, you know, they have to send, you know, documents. They, you know, they do it through your lawyer, your emails, you know. So for the way DistroKid rock, you know, like I said, I got a good relationship with him, so I can just DM him on Twitter, and then, you know, that's all the release I you know, I need. And that's a lot more user friendly than a lot of other aspects. Because I mean, imagine if you was an independent artist and you trying to pump it, and you know you trying to build the following,
right?
And right now you're trying to drop your tape and you can't because you got to clear this artist, and you got to do all the legal process to get this artist cleared. When you got DistroKid that just tell you, you know, they got a lot of different options, but they tell you, you know, if you can get that artist to send them a DM, but it's got to be a verified account, yada yada yada.
Gotcha.
Still, I think that's one of the pros to it that get everything moving a lot smoothly.
I learned something new tonight. I ain't know that.
Indeed. But what I would say, no matter what, no matter who it is, no matter what they pursuing, whether it's music or they pursuing, you know, to be the engineer, the recording engineer, the producer, the, you know, you know, and they want to do mixing and mastering, whatever it is, I would insist that you study it, because you know, no matter what it is, it's still an education curve to it. I mean, you can go and sign up for whatever, and you know, if you don't know what you're doing, then you're not gonna know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know,
get screwed over.
The music business is a tricky business, and for the most part, you hear less success stories from the music business than anything. You know, it's a lot of people stepped in and failed out of somewhere. You know, my story is a failure, but you know how, you know, like we spoke before. You know,
we spoke, and to be honest, I don't even think that was a failure to me. You feel me? Because
I mean, to me,
trials and tribulations.
But that's the thing. I think that the first thing you have to do in this is you got to put it in perspective for yourself. Otherwise, you know, what they called it when I was growing up, they called it keeping up with the Joneses. And, you know, that's the last thing I'm trying to do. I can't feed my family with your pockets, and, you know, vice versa. So I got to do what I got to do. And, you know, like, you know, the space I'm in, this is my studio. I'm not in nobody else's studio. So I don't have to pay you know, I still have to pay for the studio, but I don't have to pay for the studio.
Like hours and stuff like that.
Right. You know, I get to do it at will. And that was one of the first investments I made from my career. I made sure that no matter what, I could always record. And, you know, that's you know, even if I, you know, venture off and, you know, like right now I do a lot of investing, but even if I venture off to other aspects of entertainment, this was what got me in. And, you know, I want to always be able to do it.
Man, that's knowledge. Knowledge and wisdom, bro. I want to ask you too, like, far as your following, you know, when you first started getting your big following, did you have people in your circle to follow, or you had people trying to, you know, just turn on you any type of way, or getting jealous?
I mean, yeah, of course. That's hold on, let me plug this phone up before we wind up with technical difficulty. Hold on. But yeah, that come with everything though. I don't think that was because I don't think that was because I'm a musician or aspiring artist, none of that. I think no matter what you're doing, that's like part of life. I ain't never look at it. Well, when I was young, I looked at it like people was turning their back on me, and then it was a situation that occurred. I just happened to be in the studio with Leo one time, and
Right.
somebody I grew up with, we kind of parted ways, and it bothered me a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
something he said stuck with me. He was like, "Man, look at it like like they did you a favor," and I couldn't understand it at first. And he was like, it's better that it happens now, and you see it for what it is. Than later on, you got somebody rocking with you that ain't really rocking with you.
Right.
That's like a cancer. And ever since that conversation, and this was like when we first started rocking. So ever since that conversation, that's how I look at it. I look at it like, people gonna fall off as that is what it is. And at
Right.
the same token, everybody that grows apart from me ain't an adversary. Like, we in different walks of life. So, what I do for a living is a little different.
Right.
I'm fortunate to have a job that's essential enough for me to still be able to do it right now. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
can't work right now, not because they don't want to work, but they ain't got no choice.
Right.
So, outside of this pandemic, I got brothers that got to go to, they got a 9 to 5. He got to go to work. He can't be with me. He can't be in the
Right.
studio with me. He can't be on the road with me. So,
Mm-hmm.
I would see him less. And I look at that, and, I don't look at that like he's not rocking with me. I look at that like you doing what you're supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
because you gotta have his business.
Right, because vice
Yeah.
versa, if he was with me all the time, what the hell you gonna do unless you work with me? Then
Right.
you gonna do unless you work with me? Then
Right.
you don't got no bread, and you gotta cover yourself. You gotta take care of yourself just like I gotta take care of me.
Right. Facts.
But like I said, the people that's fell along the wayside, that never bothers me. I always looked at it like everybody can't travel anyway, and I started doing tours early on in my career, so
Mm-hmm.
that kind of show you. It kind of show you who you got in your corner,
Yeah.
and for what reasons, and it give you a sense of what's essential and what's not. Like early when rappers first go on tour, they take every person they know with them.
Everybody, the whole
Yeah,
hood.
and then it started to get expensive, and
Yeah.
people start to. I think
Disappear.
after you spend so much time with people, like it's different. Like you might have your homeboy, and you see him every day,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see him all day every day.
Right.
And then you turn around and you go on the road with him, and
Did you?
after like the third day, you know everything about him. Like I
Yeah.
know that this is what he do. I know he had these
Mm-hmm.
habits. You gonna see the things that you wouldn't see,
Yeah.
and that was like my ultimate test. If I felt like I wasn't really sure how somebody would rock, I just take them on tour,
Right.
and
So
I'm gonna
did
tell
you
off.
ever do that? Take
Huh?
the whole hood? Did you ever do that? Take the whole hood with you, or you pick
I ain't
people to
never
go with?
had many friends. I just took all the people I considered to be friends. I've been on the road. The most I ever had was maybe 15 people on the road. And from that, like I said, after a certain amount of days, people started dropping off. But I learned that from Yo Gotti, actually. I went on tour with Gotti. He had so many people with him.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
people start gradually, slipping away. So,
Mm-hmm.
it showed who could stand the test of time and who was there for, for what reason. Some people just want to rock because, the spotlight on them.
Yeah. I see you and Gotti got a good relationship, man.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. As far as like in the game, in the industry, would y'all like that before the music, or y'all got like that tour
No,
stuff?
we met through
Making music.
music, actually. At one point, Gotti was trying to sign me. I had a lot going on. I felt like I had more to prove.
Yeah.
So the offer he made, I don't want to make it sound like I was I'll say I don't think he understood I don't think he knew my value, and at that same token, I hadn't proved my value.
Right.
So, I set out to do that to make sure that, next time I was offered anything, people understood where I stood with it. And
Mm-hmm.
if I had a number, it was, it was proven already.
Gotcha.
But from that, we still kept in touch and we built a relationship through it. And he taught me a lot. Even now, I still learn from guys. Same with Juicy J. Kind of the same thing. I never burned those bridges, even though
That's good.
I never signed with them, and I wind up going elsewhere and doing what I do. It's a
Yeah.
lot of things I still do that involve me. We still like right now. If I was anywhere and I ran into Gotti or Juicy J, like a lot of times we would be in random places and running to each other in the airport, and we rock. We rock how we rock. When we
Right.
when you're in the airport, you ain't got all the hoopla. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no entourage. If anything, you got security,
Yeah.
but you moving low key. So when I'm moving around, occasionally I get people who recognize me, but nobody's you kind of not in your rapper element when you move.
Yeah, you in a whole nother zone. You ain't
Right,
really
right. So
on that for real.
it be instances where we'll be moving around and I look up and it's a guy got his hood on and he got the shades on and I'm like, it look like Juicy.
Yeah.
And I look for a second and he like he noticed me and we speak. We keep it
Right.
super discreet because we ain't trying to wake
Make
the
no
whole
scenes.
airport up. Right, right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you run into each other like that, and for the most part, man, if I hit them people, it don't matter what time of day. Like a lot of times, I just hit both of them just to check up on them, because those are the two people who schooled me the most when it came to this business. Got it
Yeah.
taught me that no matter what, above all, this is business, and
Right.
it's a lot of things that they taught me collectively that I could never repay. And like I said, for the most part, man, right now, if I call Gotti, he's gonna answer. Same with Juicy. They both spend a lot of time in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever I'm in LA, I try to
chop it up with them.
catch up with them. Yeah.
So far, it's like I know you used to be signed to a label, right?
Right. Used to
You
be
probably
signed
know.
in the scope.
Yeah, Interscope. What's the pros and cons to signing to a major label like that? In your words, you know what I'm saying, from your experience.
I'll say it. Now, you got to consider that everything is case by case.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a standard avenue. I'll say the cons to sign to a record label would be, the control
Mm-hmm.
and the cut. But that's also the pro to the signing to a record label.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on what you want. So if you just want to be a rapper, then that would be the greatest thing for you is to sign to a record label.
You just want to rap.
Right, you just want to rap.
Yeah.
You don't want to be involved when they got a clear verses or clear studio time, or
Yeah.
worry about your marketing budgets. If you don't want to do all that, then a record deal is the greatest thing in the world for you.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you had to keep in mind that it's a business.
Gotcha.
And that's why I don't know. I can't. I guess I can't lean left or right on it because it kind of go hand in hand. Like look at it like
It can help you in so many ways, and then again, if you don't know what you're doing or you just in it,
at least you got at the least you got to know what you want.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not to say that that if you don't know what you want, that's how it fails. It's situations fail regardless of what's going on. Some don't, and it's a lot of a lot of variables in it. But if you want to, I look at it like whenever we hear about record labels, you never hear an artist promote his label. Not like you. It's different now.
Promote itself more than.
Not only that, I'm saying you don't hear artists saying shout out Interscope. They repping whatever label they got signed through.
Gotcha.
So they're repping a subsidiary. Mm-hmm. They not repping Universal. They not repping. They're not repping who they signed to.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear a rapper mention the record label, it's always negative. So I would say, if you was jumping in, and you got to kind of understand the cards you got, and look at it like, if the record label signs you for X amount of dollars and put X amount of dollars behind you, where would you be if you didn't have that stepping stool? And of course, they're gonna want to compensate. Yeah. And the art of the investment is to actually make profit. Nobody's trying to break even. If I for $1 million, I don't want $1 million back.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to look at it like that, and vice versa. If you want to do it on your own, you got to keep in mind that you're doing it on your own. You got to wear all the hats. And for me, I had to learn that the hard way. That I was, I had got so used to doing everything on my own. I think it was holding me back, because you know, at some point I had to understand that you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
Right.
Impossible for me to literally be every position that I need. So I had to
And
start hiring people, and I had to start trusting people. And fresh out of a situation, trust ain't that ain't easy to come by.
Mm-hmm.
So I set out, and you know, the people around me, I sent them different avenues to learn that we needed. So, you know,
so you came in, you didn't come in with a team. You actually had to build a team when you got in. When you got signed
I came in with a team, but we was less equipped than we thought.
Gotcha. Okay.
I had to destroy and rebuild.
Yeah.
And that wasn't an easy thing to do either, because this is around the moment when I had to understand that this is business. Mm-hmm. So that, you know, those people were my friends. It was my family.
Yeah.
So, you know, that caused turmoil that, you know, we were fortunate enough to rebuild from that and patch that back up. But it's a tricky thing. And, you know, they say you don't mix business with family for that exact reason. Because when it's business is cutthroat. Not to say that, you know, the way we did it was cutthroat. Just to say that sometimes you kind of got to pick what's more important. Do we, you know, do we stick together and lose, or do we, you know, split up and figure this out so we can win? And that's what I had to do. I had to destroy and rebuild.
Yeah, I think you gotta. What's the most lesson that you learned from that situation that you walked away with?
From the Interscope situation?
Yeah. What's the most important thing you learned from that you would say?
I learned how to be more self-sufficient. I know I'm doing a lot of name dropping, but that's just how I rock. I can't help it. I learned from everybody. I learned from the people who fail and the people that succeed.
Right.
I had learned, Rocco gave me some advice. Well, actually, when he talked to me, we was on like a panel. He was talking to somebody who asked the question, but, you know, they asked him how he maintained his longevity and always remained relevant.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, when you with a label, they take you to meet people. You know, you meet people all the time. Right. And it's easy for you to let your manager or your A&R or, you know, your publicist or whoever do all the talking for you. And, you know, and, you know, a lot, you know, they make you feel big. Like, you know.
Yeah, because you ain't got to speak to nobody. They doing all the work.
Right. Yeah. He holler at my people.
Right, right.
But the benefit to you being a person at that moment is when that situation, you know, dissolve or move on or whatever, you still got those relationships. You still get to be a person instead of being, you know, the superstar. And, you know, if you're a superstar, you treat everybody else like they work for you. When they don't work for you no more, they ain't going to treat you like a superstar. And I also learned that from Bubba Sparks, like maybe a week before I actually signed the deal. I was trying to figure out which way I wanted to go with it. And it was driving me crazy. I sat down with Bubba Sparks and he gave me some game. He was like, you know, right now what I need to focus on is me. And it was people that, you know, that would have benefited if he would have told me, you know, to rock with them. He was rocking with certain people, and if he would have advised me to do that, you know, that would have been the ultimate benefit for his people. So the fact that he gave me some selfless advice was great. He was like, man, you got to do, you know, what works for you. You got to sit down and remove all the other people out of the equation. Yeah. Do what, you know, what works for you. And that's what I did. You know, he schooled me to a lot of the things that he went through when he was, you know, when he was getting started. I don't want to share that. I think that's his story to tell. But he told me the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when he did that, I felt like that was, you know, I felt like that was precious advice. Like those was gems, because, you know, it take a humble man to tell you how he failed.
Yeah.
And, you know, he ain't hold no punches. He ain't sugarcoated. And if anybody, I guess if there's a second place to somebody I learned the most from, it would have to be Bubba Sparks. But that's what I'm saying. I learned that from trying to make the deal work out.
Yeah.
I guess I would say, to answer that question, I learned how to be self-sufficient. I learned how to treat it like a truly a business and be all the way involved with it.
Gotcha. And then and I'm glad you said it, because a lot of times everybody ain't gonna understand your vision, even with your family members. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
try to
mean
take everybody aboard.
that's
You
a
know, and
tricky
it
thing
work out well.
that's a tricky thing to get to resonate to another person. That's like you explaining to me how you plan on painting a picture.
Yeah.
I would be completely confused. I want to use blue here and green here, and
You
I
don't
don't
know why
see what
you
you
want
see.
I want to do that way.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But in my head, I can't see what you see. So,
Gotcha.
when it comes to your plan and your actual goal and your outlook, that's a difficult thing to get somebody else to understand. So
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, you got to have people who just believe in you,
Yeah.
and in turn, you got to believe in them.
It's true. At this moment, Don, who inspires you?
My
Like who do you
kids.
tell your kids?
I'm sure you mean like musically.
It can be, so anything that continue to keep you going and, scribing your career.
As far as personally, it's my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up how I grew up. Anybody that's a fan of my music, I'm sure you've heard my stories. So that's like my main goal is to make sure my kids don't have to do any of the things that I had to do.
Right.
That's kind of my drive, and as they get older, they evolve, and it's precious. You see yourself in them. You see their own personalities, and that just that let me know I'm doing the right thing. And the way they conduct themselves, the manners they got, the respect they got, that let me know I was on it. As far as musically though, Juicy J and Chili Boy, those are like they like my idols if anything,
Yeah.
because Juicy had been in the game for however long he was in it, and pressed the refresh button, and
Yeah, he said he been in the game for about 20 plus years, 30 plus years, man.
and he ain't look at it like it was over. Like he ain't
Yeah.
done say he done.
Right.
So the fact that he could turn it around and he was already up there. So he
Mm-hmm.
turned it around and skyrocketed. That let me know that no matter what, as long as I can stay down with it, I can do
Yeah.
it. Same for Titty. When Titty changed his name to 2 Chainz, he
Yeah,
did
like
the
they adapt to the curve so well that
right,
it just
right.
fit in place.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
those are people I look up to as far as music.
That's what's up, man. I want to get into some singles you got. I know Money Talks.
Money Talks.
I like,
You talking about a feature? I think.
yeah, what that feature you did, yeah.
Man, I don't wanna.
I remember you dropped that, and I want to speak with you with it. I was like,
I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Make it sound like people are unimportant.
mm.
Man, I probably done like
I ain't gonna say it like that, but
I done about 27. I want to say, but I done about 27 features in like the last 2 weeks. I just did 9 yesterday,
yeah.
so I'm kind of.
And I was like, this is hard, and I want
Well,
to.
what I do, I try to like right now what I'm doing a deal with aspiring artists.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the ticket I'm taking right now to do a verse. I would never take to do a verse, but
Yeah.
I feel like I ain't into coattailing, bandwagons, none of that.
Right.
If I don't know certain artists, I ain't rocking. So I felt like for the artists that treat it as organic as I treat it,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was the way I could help. Like, instead of like a lot of people send me like they be sending verses they wrote, they DM me that. I don't know why. I can't understand your rap by reading it.
Right.
And I'm not gonna read it. I don't know who this is or what this is.
Yeah.
People send me like, song got the song, and I ain't looking for no artist, so I can't really help you in that aspect. I ain't, I don't have the when I call Juicy, it ain't to talk about, music
Right.
sometimes. So I can't like pass it along. I ain't in that position, so to speak.
Right.
I'm not looking to be in that position. So I can't really help you if you're trying to like get on or get signed or whatever it is, or create your buzz.
Yeah.
But what I can help you with is giving you the extra push as far as a fan base. If my fan base is fairly higher than yours, then ain't no incentive in it for me to do it. So I won't do it for free.
Right.
And I need that artist to understand that if you trying to, pursue this business, then, you have to invest.
Right.
So, I try to work with them And if you do a feature with me, then you know I'm all in to do the video, to do the promo, to do whatever I can to help you further that along.
How do they get a feature with you? Say if they want to get a feature with Dunn, how would they do that?
Just DM me. You DM me right now, man, and it's.
You finna have a lot of DM, boy.
I already got a lot of DMs.
You finna have a whole lot of DMs.
Like that's kind of why I do it, because it's pros and cons to that. If I get 100 messages right now, 85 of them are gonna be bullshit, and 15 people gonna really be about what they own. And I can't that would easily deter me from checking the DMs and responding. But that kind of go hand in hand. I feel like I would be turning my back on the people I just opened the door for, because too many people at the door. So that's just a bullet I gotta bite. Yeah. So I check all the DMs, and as long as it's a reasonable ticket, then we can work with it. Some people don't really have a budget, period. Like they don't have any money to spend. And I'm not doing it for I'm not making enough from this for me to be doing it for the money. But I can't do it for free. I mean, of course, I'm sure you can understand, if you got 100 people trying to get a free verse, I would be doing 100 free verses. Yeah. That would be a waste of my time, especially if only 15 of these people really going to do what they got to do for that record. So I have to be compensated in some manner. As far as like the promo and the videos, I try to cut a deal with the videos. And promo, the promo is free for me. If I'm a part of it, then I'm gonna do everything I can do to make sure it sees the light of day. And that's something I learned from I can learn that from Gilla the Kid. I never met Gilla the Kid, but one day he did he do the little the videos he do on Instagram. I don't know what you would call those videos, but a few years ago, he was doing one, and he was like, man, all you upcoming rappers. He was like, y'all, you wasting your money if you paying a rapper to get on your record. The money you saved up and invested, you trying to put it in your career. You got this rapper on your record, and he don't want to promote your record. He don't want to, he don't want to help in no shape or fashion. He's like, man, you spending your money the wrong way, because that's not an investment. And that rapper is not a stand-up guy. And when he said that, that made me check myself, because that's how I was rocking. I'm like, man, you ain't pay me to do no promo. That's not what I'm doing. Right. And when he said, like I said, when he said that, that made me sit back and think about it, because I never looked at it like they weren't investing, even though I've been in that same predicament. That just was something I was, I overlooked. So for me, that's how, that gave me the notion to try as best I could to help it's to help as much as I could. Then when I do videos with up and coming artists, I try to give them as much game as I can. Some people don't really know what they're doing at all, and they don't really care. And for those kind of people, then it is what it is. I ain't trying to preach to the choir. And then I come across the people who shooting their videos and they dead serious, or they in the studio and they dead serious. And I try to give as much advice as I can. And I always tell them, I'm not telling you how to do it, because there's a million ways to do it. I'll tell you how I did it and what I saw while doing it. And you can take from that what you may.
Gotcha. And I know you got to get out here done too, but last question I want to ask you, as far as artists that don't know what they're doing, like what advice could you give them? Like the ones out there that's serious, because some out there, they just want some attention. But then there are some out there that's really trying, man. They really want, like, trying to make this thing come together, and make it a career. What would you tell them?
Right. What would I tell? Which set of people? The people that don't.
Yeah, for the ones like the artists that's actually trying to get in it and make a career, and giving it their all.
Again, man, study. When I say study, I'm not saying go listen to rap from the 70s and learn like how to be MC Shan or Hey Ho and shit on the stage. That's not what I mean when I say study it. I'm saying, I'll say this. I came in, and when I first jumped in this, I wanted to be considered a lyricist. So those are, I studied the Jadakiss, the LL Cool J, the Jay-Z, and the list is endless. At some point, I wanted to be able to be. This is like I was maybe 10 or 11. But you know, at some point, as I progressed, I wanted to be able to be true to my, you know, to
Question I want to ask you. I know a lot of people, they definitely want to know about this. Step Brothers.
Step Brothers 4.
Oh,
It's
Step
on the
Brothers
way.
4.
Man, we working on it. Of course, the pandemic kind of slowed everything down as far as travel wise.
Right.
If we didn't have kids, we probably would be a little more, you know, lenient as far as, you know, traveling back and forth.
Right.
But neither one of us want to, you know, I don't want to go to some city and bring whatever back home to my kids.
I feel you.
He don't want to do the same. So right now we
Yeah.
just slow rolling it. We don't believe in emailing each other songs when it comes to that. If it was my tape and I was working on a tape, I got no problem sending Craig the, you know, the record and he sent it back.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's not the same thing.
Gotcha.
When we do the Step Brothers tapes, we don't do no, we got to be in person. We got to both be there, and we got to vibe out. Every record is from scratch. We don't got no idea. You know, hey, listen to this song and put a verse on it. That ain't rock. So you know, it's coming. We're trying to get it done. But other than that, more importantly, you know, he's a father. I think his child about to be maybe 2. I want to say. Either way, you know, fatherhood has been great to him. So
congratulations, man. Start lead off if you're watching this, bro. Big ups
indeed,
to you.
indeed.
And anything else you want to say to the people done before we get ready to get up out of here, man?
Man, you know, I'm a secluded person. I'm a man of very few words.
Yeah.
But if you've been rocking with me, whether you just started rocking with me 10 minutes ago when this shit started, or you've been rocking with me since, you know, I was in my closet recording. You've been rocking with me. I appreciate the love. I hope all y'all staying safe, masked up. Where I come from, you put, you know, the mask means something different. So, you know.
Yeah, not this go around.
Me. Now everybody got a mask.
Yeah, not this go around. It's the same.
Right. Either way, you know, I just want to say, you know, your life is more valuable than everything or anything. So, you know, I just hope everybody's staying safe. If you're watching this, then I assume you indoors. So, you know, other than that, man, you know, I love y'all back and Godspeed, like they write in this thing.
Already. Appreciate you, man. It's always a blessing talking to you, bro. Like I said,
always,
we can talk all day, honestly. Like,
dude,
it's all last time.
You know, you got my line, man. Whenever you hit me, I'm with it.
Already, man. Appreciate it. Good talking to you again, bro. Be safe down there in Memphis, man.